What a week, huh?
Ugh.
Tuesday, Lemon. The Nuggets got a big win in Utah. We're going to talk about the totally normal win that the Nuggets got in Utah in a totally normal NBA game that was not stressful at all on Locked On Nuggets.
You are Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to Locked On Nuggets, your daily Denver Nuggets podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day, being an everydayer, and making us your first listen. Joining us Monday through Friday, whether you're joining us on the podcast side, wherever you get your podcast for free, or if you're joining us at youtube.com/LockedOnNuggets. Appreciate each and every single one of you. We also appreciate those of you that have signed up to be an everydayer. You can join up at LockedOnNuggets.supercast.com. It's in the description below. Just go ahead and sign up. Discord was bumping tonight. Memes, jokes. It's absolutely terrific. Our community is growing.
It's
awesome. I want to
awesome.
be a part of it. You're going to have a really fun time, and you're going to get bonus content from us. You're going to get stuff like Ryan posted an exclusive episode today for our everydayers, discussing a number of things. You're also going to get stuff like our scouting reports, which usually I do. I have fallen because of the early game yesterday and the back-to-back today, but there will be scouting reports for Thursday and Friday's games versus the Lakers and the Knicks. My name is Matt Moore. I'm the senior NBA writer for the Action Network. I write at Fansided, Hardwood Paroxysm, the Denver Dig, and I'm the co-host of Locked On NBA Daily, Monday through Friday at youtube.com/LockedOnNBA. You can join Ryan Blackburn on the Pickaxe and Roll podcast. He's been covering the Denver Nuggets for 9 seasons. You can catch him at Mile High Sports, where he has written a column on tonight's feel good, totally normal, nothing weird win over the Utah Jazz tonight.
Gotta love it.
Gotta love it. On today's show, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about Jamal Murray's absolutely incredible offensive performance. And we will walk a very delicate line of not ruining your night because your Nuggets finally won and it's been a rough week, and also try and put appropriate context on this game.
That's the important tone, I think, to take on this one, Matt, because look, one of the lines that I put in my story was that there's been a lot of things that have gone wrong for the Nuggets over the last 40 games. There's been a lot of things, a lot of stuff that you just like, man, that was not good. Like they did a lot of good things, but ultimately it didn't work out. This one, they didn't do a lot of good things and it did work out. And they found a way to eke out a victory from the jaws of defeat when they had every opportunity to lose that game. Ultimately, Jamal Murray makes it happen. The Nuggets get to the free throw line and do a whole bunch of good there. 32 of 35 from the free throw line. The storyline was for months that they have been missing clutch free throws. They didn't tonight. It was a very, very important thing for them. Sometimes you just got to get a win. Second night of a back-to-back, no matter the situation. They were missing 4 forwards at the same time. It's a good win. Doesn't feel good, but it was a good win.
Well, let's talk about the Nuggets edition of Taius Jones tonight. We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah.
As well. Okay. So, all right. Hey, clutch win.
Yeah.
You know what? I want to talk for a minute about this. So like I've killed the Jazz for how they've like pulled players in the fourth quarter, right? And like their guys were like they've gone ahead and gone the whole way, which is what they need to do. Like if they just done this in December, I would have never made a fuss about it. They just been like, yeah, we're not playing these guys. They are quote unquote injured. They're having surgery and like they're having real surgery, but like getting stuff done that they would usually do in the offseason or whatever, or have been putting off for years. Totally fine. And they could have just played like this, and they would have been like, this is a totally normal loss. And they played really really well tonight. I think the Jazz are gonna be a problem next year. I think Will Hardy's a really good coach. I love Keontae George. I love the kind of player that he's turned into. I actually kind of like Kyle Filipowski. I like a lot of what he brings to the table. So the other thing here I will say is we're gonna sit here and talk about like, you know, the headline of the show is like, a win's a win, question mark, right on the thumbnail.
Sure.
And if you're a player, if like you're one of the Nuggets, you're just like, bleep you, man. Like, do you know how hard it is to win an NBA game? Like, that's going to be their reaction is like, it doesn't matter. These are the best players in the world, and these guys are still really talented, and we're on a back-to-back on travel, and like, this is just how it goes sometimes. And if it wasn't for the context of what they've been in for basically, I don't know, since Yoke came back, like since February 1st. If they had not been in that context, right, then tonight we're just kind of like laughing and we're just like, it's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
But because the vibes have been so bad and they played so bad, it seems like a continuation of the product. Like that's part of it. So like what I don't want to do is I don't want to act like winning an NBA game is an easy thing to do, because you do see like the Washington Wizards have 17 wins this year. The Utah Jazz have 18 wins this year. Like they do find ways to win games. Again, it's probability, right? Like they win.
I want to respond to this from Perez here. You're right. The Jazz are tanking, but there are players that don't tell the players that are playing on the floor that like they
wanted this one.
Develop. Like
they really wanted this one. You could tell by the bench reactions.
Like they were in it. They were at like they are like kind of like how the Nuggets in compromised situations earlier this season. Doesn't matter how many guys you're missing. Doesn't matter the kind of situation. You're going to try to put forth the same professional effort every night.
Right.
I have a larger respect for the Jazz than I did prior to tonight because of what they showed tonight. I think what they did was pretty impressive, and I thought they battled throughout all of it, and Denver had to go uphill in order to get it done. Now, what did they make it harder than it had to be? Sure. But like they still had to battle for it.
Now, is this a good win? No, it's a terrible win. Like I'm consistent on this, guys, where I have been saying this since 2000, and when I joined the show in like what 2019, 2004. No, it was later than that. Whenever I joined the show, yeah, it had to have been because it was before the pandemic. Anyway,
long years.
Back in the 1800s when I joined the show, you know, I've always said there's good wins, there's bad wins, there's good losses and bad losses in the course of 82, and this is a bad win. I will say though, like they just needed something to turn, and they definitely needed a game where it was like, hey, because here's I wrote you mentioned that it's been this different thing. I wrote the exact same thing today over the dig, and then you can find it in the Everydayers Club. It talks about like, look at all the different things that have gone wrong. And it's not just like the big stuff, like the injuries. It's like in-game situations where it's like this shot didn't go, but that one did. And this turnover happened, but that one didn't. Like there was a loose ball and it could have absolutely gone to a Nugget, but instead it bounced off someone's leg and went right to a guy under the bat. Like it's been just a constant Murphy's Law. And in this one, things went Denver's way, particularly a series of officiating decisions that went their way ultimately. And that's okay because you get those breaks sometimes. That's what happens in the course of 82 games. You don't have to apologize for it. There's nothing to apologize for. You got to win. They needed something to kind of turn the ground. But like, you know, we're not going to be able to sit here and be like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Because it's like you still went wire to wire with a team that was starting Cody Williams and Ace Bailey.
Cody Williams is bad, man. Like that dude does nothing.
I will tell you his one bucket though. There's actually an incredible photo of it. There's there's like an amazing photo of his one. I will send it to you. It's absolutely incredible.
I'm gonna look now.
It's amazing. Yeah, they're starting Elijah Harkless. Like this was not you should not you can feel better about okay. Like this, I think is accurate from Dominic Lopez. We really needed tonight. Yes. Like if they had lost, I did not know. Like I was sitting there when they were down late, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to go on the show. I was like, I just don't know how I'm going to be able to do 30 minutes.
Thought the same thing. Thought exactly the same thing. It was going to be torturous. It's going to be painful. The crowd is going to be pretty frustrating.
Joe Philly says, I don't know, Matt. Looks to me like everything's fixed now.
Everything's good. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here, folks.
But, you know, and look, they don't get this win if they don't get the performance that they got from Jamal Murray. As Jamal goes for 45 points on 13 of 19 shooting, 8 of 13 from 3, 11 of 12 from the free throw line, 8 assists, 2 steals, did have 7 turnovers, plus minus of 0. He scored 45 points.
The 7 turnovers were funny. A plus minus of 0 is hilarious in this situation because he was so good. And some of those turnovers were him trying to pass the ball to Jokic. And I think that Jokic and others didn't necessarily give him a good outlet in some of those situations, but like he's going to get credit with the turnover as he probably should. But like, my God, some of the shot making that he had tonight was absolutely absurd. There was one play towards the beginning of the third quarter where he got, I believe it was Filipowski on a switch, and he stepped back to his left, could have taken a step back three. Filipowski flies by him, and then he jumps sideways to his right from behind the three-point line and swishes it nothing but the bottom while moving sideways. Like, who does that, man? That is a ridiculous shot, and he was making all of those tonight. Step back threes, like the turnaround fadeaways off of 1 foot in the mid-range. He got to the free throw line, as many guys did, but was just very good at all levels of the floor tonight. That efficiency is nuts, man.
How about the double big lineup?
Can I vent for a second?
I guess.
I have no idea what David Adelman was doing in that first half. I have no idea the mechanism. Like, I understand going double big. Like, that's perfectly reasonable. Takes out Julian Strawther 2 minutes into the game, never plays Jonas Valanciunas with the second unit at all, plays Zeke Naji as the backup 5 for some reason, and then never plays Jonas at all in the first half again after playing him with Jokic when it actually was pretty solid at the beginning of the game. And then lo and behold, I think Jonas has the highest plus minus on the team, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
Like, because those lineups were pretty good. Like, they actually did work, and Denver did a lot of good things, despite the fact that, like, Jokic individually, I think, looked bad in those situations, but the team as a whole was pretty successful because they were getting an offensive rebound or a foul or a bucket pretty much every time down the floor.
I feel like it makes a lot of sense, Ryan.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the rotation specifically?
Yeah. So
bringing in Tim Hardaway 2 minutes into the game in place of Julian Strawther?
I think that this was definitely not. I think Julian's on a pretty short leash right now, right?
I don't know why. I think he's been playing okay.
And then from the Valve standpoint, they kept Val to 17 minutes on the second night of the back-to-back.
Yeah, and like, look, maybe I'm underrating what his actual minutes load needs to be in these situations. I feel like if you're in the starting lineup, you should be able to go up to 25. Like, that's just, I think it's a pretty reasonable ask in that situation, especially if that was the goal.
Yeah, but like, we just don't know what the training staff's input on this stuff is and what the goal was. Like, you have to be able to ask these specific questions, I think, consistently. The other thing I would say is, and I've mentioned this, like, look, if they lost, it was disastrous, right? Again, the bonus of Adelman over Malone, the biggest thing is that Adelman has a broad scope, wide view of the season. Malone had a short-term, very narrow, hyper-focused view of the season. How do we win the next game?
Yeah, sure.
You know, and Adelman like talks like, no. Adelman from the very beginning has talked about how he wants to approach things because this was a frustration from not only the organization and the training staff, but also from the players. And so, like, I think tonight is like, this is a great opportunity for us to be able to play double big and see what this looks like. No Cam, no AG, no Peyton. Let's actually give this 1 minute. I know. I hear you. Yeah, you're supportive of that decision. Yeah. But also, it's like, I understand somebody being like, well, wait, you're on a back-to-back, so it's fine for Val to play 17. Jokic plays 36. Yes, because this is how Joker is wired. Is like that. Joker and Jamal are like, we get paid, and I appreciate this about them. They're like, we get paid. This is our job. Like, this is our job. Now, I honestly, if they had won yesterday, if they had beaten the Minnesota Timberwolves, I would have put them on the plane. I would have just been like, we'll see you guys when you get back. Like, that's it.
Yeah, because you've already got a couple of days off after this, and like, now it was important for them to get this win. They had to get this win because they didn't get the Minnesota win, and they did, and it was ugly, and they found a way.
And you don't have to agree with all of the decisions, right? Like, you shouldn't agree with all the decisions. That's your right as a fan. But where I will kind of stop is like the idea of like, when it's like, I have no idea what was happening. It's like, oh, well, we can probably think about this, and there's probably reasons that have more to do with like the big picture stuff that probably explain a lot of those micro decisions that are confusing.
Yeah, I mean, one of the ones was that, like, you have Murray and Pickett leaving in the second quarter at the same time, and then you have Bruce coming back in as the backup point guard. Like, if you're going to use your centers at the same time and then use your point guards at the same time, might it make sense to use a point guard and a center at the same time? when they're out there. I didn't really understand. I get it, and he's trying stuff, and this is an opportunity to do it. But like at some point, you still have to win games and put yourself into a position to be successful. And they got the win tonight, so maybe I shouldn't be complaining.
I want to talk about this, Steve Augustin, because everybody's really mad about the 4 guards thing. The only thing I'll tell you on 4 guards is this is simply a consequence of guys being out.
Yeah, 100%.
They don't want to play 4 guards, and it's like, well, you can just play. You like they do not feel like they can play Zeke Naji extended minutes. Like Duran is not viable.
Yeah,
to them, and their opinion is that they would rather have smaller lineups of guys that they think have earned the rotation minutes and belong there than just throwing out guys.
This is a very common thing across the NBA, by the way. Like, this is not just a Nuggets thing. It's not just an Adelman or a Malone thing or anything like that. This is something that teams across the board do. They would rather sacrifice size and go with skill. They would rather have guys that they trust in these situations to move and make the adjustments rather than guys that are too slow or like maybe are athletic enough and physical enough, but if you're not making the right decisions, then you're compromising the defense no matter what.
If Spencer Jones is healthy, Spencer Jones plays, and Spencer Jones probably cuts into those minutes for the 4 guard lineup. If Peyton Watson is healthy, Peyton Watson plays, and you don't have, and that cuts it down to probably a 2 guard line. Like
if all 4 of those guys are healthy, Matt, then they might play 1 guard lineups on a pretty consistent basis.
A lot of this is from a fan perspective, you're like, you have 15 guys, play all 15 guys if you have to. And instead from not just from a Nuggets, from any coach's perspective, it's who is in the rotation, who is not. And some of this is as simple as like, hey, like when you go to a guy and you're like, hey, you're probably not going to be playing much. Like I'm not going to be playing you much for the next couple of weeks, but you need to be prepared, but stay prepared, stay ready. Right. You don't want to actually pull that guy out unless it's like urgent, because it's not really fair to take a guy when he doesn't expect to play and be like, hey, guess what? You're going 35 minutes tonight. Now they'll do it.
And yet there are like opportunities where I do think that like that's how the coaching staff should be preparing guys in some of these situations to play. Like it is going to be limited opportunities, and these guys want to play. Like it's not like they want to sit on the bench.
So somebody says in the comments, this was the best game to experiment. Well, it was. I think that they probably didn't think it was going to be a 2-point game with a minute to go. So that's part of it. We will talk about some more on this game. We'll also get to Taius Jones' addition, as he is the final man for the Denver Nuggets rotation and roster this season. We'll talk about that. And let's talk a little bit about Jokic coming up on Locked On Nuggets. Workplace chaos, deadline stacking up, inbox overflowing, and the one position you have to fill still sitting open. When the pressure's on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Sponsored Jobs. Indeed, Sponsored Jobs helps you reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for. Skills, experience, location, so you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. You want the right people. You want the right people that are the right fit with the right skills, and Indeed's going to help you get there. It is so important for you to have a smart process to hiring, and that's what Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you with. Here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you're hiring, spend less time searching and more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Listeners of this show will get $75 sponsored job credit to help get your job the premium status it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Today's show is also brought to you by BetterHelp. March is a time for you. It's spring. Things are being renewed, right? Some places. And so if that's the case, then it's a good time for you to also renew yourself. And then therapy can be a great way to do that. You can find ways to get in touch with yourself and the things that you're going through, and also just find better patterns in your life. Therapy can be so helpful, not just if you're going through something serious, if you're dealing with grief, if you're dealing with loss, if you're dealing with trauma. Therapy can be great for you if you're just someone that wants to feel better about anything, about process, about work, about handling your stress at work, about handling family problems. There's so many things that you're going to get, and BetterHelp is a great way for you to get access to over 30,000 licensed therapists and more than 6 million people who have used BetterHelp worldwide. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, and it works. Fill out a short questionnaire, get matched with a licensed therapist. If it's not the right fit, you can switch at any time. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. That's betterhelp.com/lockedonnba. We're also brought to you today by FanDuel. College basketball is nonstop. Big games, tight spreads, momentum swings every single night. From early tip-offs to late-night West Coast shootouts, there's always action on the board. And now FanDuel is giving you a way to turn that energy into even bigger potential wins with a college basketball parlay profit boost. You can build any college hoops parlay you want, rivalry games, ranked matchups, whatever fits. You can make spreads, totals, and player props to match how you're seeing the slate. Then you just apply the profit boost and instantly bump up the potential payouts. Go safe, go bold, ride with the team you've been following all season. Get in on those props for those amazing freshmen that are all dropping 40 points a night. It's your parlay, your style, now with more upside behind it. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. That's FanDuel.com. FanDuel, play your game. We'll be right back on Locked On Nuggets. Back here on Locked On Nuggets. Thanks for joining us and making us part of your day. Appreciate you guys being with us. Okay. So I feel bad. So apparently DMVR, who we are good friends with and have nothing but the highest respect for and want good things for, and you can watch their shows and our shows and enjoy them both. But apparently they were criticizing Jokic for flopping. And so all like there's like a lot of comments which are like, so glad to have these guys, they won't do it. And I'm like furiously scribbling, like, don't mention the flopping, like just marking out lines in there. But instead,
we've never talked about Jokic flopping before.
Instead, I will just ask you, what was your opinion of Jokic's kind of game tonight? I knew you were really frustrated in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm going to start on the defensive end. It was an utter tire fire from Jokic defensively tonight. Like,
it was especially bad after I defended it on.
Yeah, like here's
Krasinski, who I love, was like Jokic was really bad in that game, and I was like, no, like actually he was okay. Like he gets it, and then I've got people being like, what about Kyle Filipowski? And I was like, well, no, this is just bad.
Yeah, I mean, because look, there's certain things you have to be able to do, and when Jokic is like this, and when Jokic is like trying to defend a quick, shifty guard like a Keontae George, like an Anthony Edwards.
Real quick, I got something that I need to talk about real quick. Okay.
Okay.
Jordan in the comments says, how do I stop hiccups?
Okay. Oh, this is important.
In the entire history of this show, I'm never going to tell you anything more important than what I'm about to tell you. You close your eyes. Okay. You picture a door in space, just like a floating door. Anytime, wooden, white, whatever you want. Okay. A door in space floating. The wind is trying to blow open the door. Okay. The wind is pushing against that door. Picture a giant hand, like in Super Smash Brothers, the giant fingers. If you played that game, if you haven't, just imagine a giant gloved hand pushing with 2 fingers against that door to stop the wind. Close your eyes and visualize that for 1 minute, and I promise you your hiccups will go away. This is the best advice I have ever gotten. It works every single time. I have told it to strangers, and they have been just like, are you a warlock? It is one of the coolest things I have found. I got it off of How to Do Everything, the NPR podcast. This is the best advice I have for you. Back to the show. All right.
This is pretty impressive.
You were talking about Jokic and the defense being awful.
Yeah. So, I mean, look, this was one of the worst Jokic defensive games that we've seen in a long time. And it's funny that it came down to a Jokic defensive play that it could have not been a foul. It was challenged and overturned at the end on a Keontae George drive in which Jokic probably fouled him. I think there were enough angles, I think, that it felt like the refs were able to overturn it. And yet, amazing. The remedy has worked. The hiccup remedy is 100%. That's amazing. Jokic was, when he's caught in space in the way that he is, like, you have to either cut off the drive or force them far enough to the sideline in which they do not have an angle to the rim. And Keontae George had an angle to the rim almost every single time. Every single time he was trying to get to the rim there. And Denver, like, in fairness to Jokic, did not do a good enough job in helping down on Filipowski when he was trying to come over and cut off that drive. Jokic can't really do both. The guys have to do a better job of staying connected there. But Keontae George is really good and somebody who's extremely helpful in terms of driving and creating offense. And he is averaging 25 points for a reason. So Jokic shifted over, Keontae still scored, and they gave up the other stuff. So not a good Jokic game overall. I thought that he was very frustrated throughout this game by the physicality. I thought that he let that bother him again. And that sucks because this version of Jokic is not, it hasn't been super enjoyable to consume.
Okay, so I didn't get a good. I honestly did not get a good look on the final play that got overturned. It was a great challenge by Adelman.
Clearly,
right?
It worked.
Yeah, I mean, there was no real reason not to use it. It's like the reason to use it, but it's why you also, by the way, this is one reason why I'm very insistent on keeping challenges until the end of games. Like, I think that this is very important. Is like, you should never burn an early challenge. You should always, like, it should be last 5 minutes. It should be, does it save points? Does it change possession in a tight game? Like,
yeah,
that is a textbook of a great challenge. I thought Nikola for the first 2 months of the season was completely, like, he was good to his word. He was like, I'm not going to get involved with the refs. I'm just going to play basketball. And he did, and he dominated, and he was the best player on the planet, and it was unbelievable. He was having a better season than last year.
Yeah.
And it's been notable that he has been right back to how he was last year since he came back from the injury. I do not think that is a coincidence. I think that there is a very strong correlation here of, how can I put this? I am a jackass on Twitter when I'm in a bad mood. If you see me like losing it, crashing out on Twitter, it's usually like, you can count. And like, I'll be very honest about this. Like, I will have bad mental health days and go on Twitter, which is like only going to make things worse.
Yeah, it doesn't help. I'll tell you that.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's kind of, but if you're cranky because you're hurt and you're sore and you're tired and you're getting the kind of physicality that he has met with consistently, then you are going to respond negatively to a lot of these things. Now, this has been a thing that I've been on for a couple of years, and it's not anyone in particular in the market. It's been all of us kind of saw it at the same time. People covering the games were like, he would start grifting a little bit, and we'd be like, didn't used to do that. And it's just like, it's gotten more and more. And I think a lot of it, honestly, is, if we want to talk about it reasonably, these guys get so exhausted by the incredible amount that they have the ball and how much energy and work that goes into that. And drawing fouls is a really great way to generate points while saving energy.
Yes.
It still takes energy because you have to like do the physical move, but it is a way to it is easier to hit free throws than it is to finish through contact.
No,
right?
But yeah,
if you're gonna get hit, right, your odds of making it are lower. But if you are able to draw the foul, then you're able to do that. The box out thing that was tonight, I don't have like a huge issue with that. Like, I'm just like, somebody on Twitter was like, this is dangerous. And I will tell you, this is one thing I will advocate for, just me personally. It is possible for us to for you to be the kind of fan that is just like awesome online. And that means not going and like making comments when Shai Gilgeous-Alexander flops and flails, because your guy does it too. And because when the Thunder fans come over and are like, what do you think about this, Matt? And I'm like, I've been criticizing Jokic for getting involved with the officiating and drawing fouls and literally giving Ryan the side eye every time he does it for genuinely 4 years.
It's hard. It's difficult.
And Ryan used to be like, no, that was a like he was. And now Ryan's like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's like, I
know. And so like,
so can I give my take on that play in particular?
Yeah.
I think that Jokic didn't do a good enough job of establishing a low center of gravity. And I think that that's what happens when he's tired. I think when you've got a smaller guy, and I'll use my football background as something here. Low man wins in football, man. It's why the tush push is such a big play for the Philadelphia Schmeagles. They get lower with their stances and with their power than anything. And low man wins. And when you have a guard that is trying to box you out, as a big man, you cannot envelop a guy and expect to get a call when that guy has already established inside position, is trying to box you out legally, and is doing everything that he can to push back into you. What Jokic did was go over and around and over the top of him. It was not a good, like, was it a foul? No. Was it a foul on Keontae George? No. Like, it was a play on. Like, that was, I think the refs handled that perfectly. But if Jokic keeps doing it, like, that is one where I just assume that he is either not trying to go around a player or not actually trying to go through a player. He was trying to get a call in that case. And I don't think it was necessary against the 6'3", 180-pound Keontae George. Like, I think Jokic can do better than that. Now, he doesn't want to do better than that. He wants to go get free throws. And I get that. But, like, that is completely on him. It is not on Keontae George. And anybody that is blaming Keontae George in that situation is being ridiculous.
I do think it's a bummer that Nuggets fans used to really genuinely be able to be like ethical poops. And it's just like, I'll say this, Joker also was a very different, like, think about this. This isn't like a negative. This is not a criticism of Nikola. It's just like, he's older. Like, he's matured. Like, he is no longer the kid that was like driving like a Hyundai or whatever it was. Right? Like, Joker drives a Range Rover.
Yeah.
Like, Joker wears $5,000 suits. Joker has a watch that costs more than my car.
He's got a great suit game.
Yeah. Like, he's just different. And part of that is like all this stuff that kind of comes with it. And like Tony's talking about yesterday's Wolves game, he says going to the free throw line 6 times is not very grifting. That's true, because the Wolves are really good at not fouling. That's one of their strengths, is they don't foul. That's one of the reasons they're such a good defense. Some defenses like OKC foul at a moderate rate, and you can argue it should be higher. I totally understand that.
It's why Jokic makes so many baskets against Rudy Gobert and doesn't get as many fouls against Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, they know how to not foul. But like tonight, you really, like, guys, I mean, he shot 11 free throws. Jamal shot 12 free throws. It was 35-26, and it was a huge gap in the fourth quarter. You got a good whistle tonight, and that's okay. Like, you get a good whistle someday. You're bigger and older than them. You should get a good whistle versus this team.
What I 100%, like, and especially they've got like 5 centers out at the same time. You should get a better whistle. You should have more free throws than they did. What I will say is that, like, when he got his 5th foul, like, he started the fourth quarter, I think he was getting hacked a little bit during that time in his defense, in the fans' defense. They're not watching something that's erroneous. I do think that he was getting like a tough whistle in some cases. Immediately the next possession, Jonas Valanciunas comes in for him, gets a pretty soft foul call, like for him in that case. And like, the broadcast actually pointed it out. Like, Scott Hastings was like, that was a pretty soft call, which when Scott Hastings says it, that's pretty impressive. So I do think that there was, after Joker got his 5th, I think that there was a conscious effort from the referees to be like, okay, we're going to call what we see here. And if we see a foul, we're going to call a foul. And they called it a lot and down the stretch. And it made a lot of other fan bases mad. I'll tell you that.
Jordan's going to sign up to be an everydayer because of the hiccuping tip.
Hell yeah. So, let's go.
Let's go. All right. Let's go. Thank you, Jordan. Appreciate that. You're hanging a lot.
Didn't just mean on YouTube.
You'll enjoy that. All right. So in general, like, look, Joker's line tonight, 22, 12, and 5. He was a +2. Like, it's fine. I don't think that like tonight was, I thought the first half was terrible. I don't really know what to do, because it's like, this is a March back-to-back. And I know that nobody wants to hear about it anymore, because I've been talking about how exhausted they are for weeks. I want to stress they've got the back-to-back on Friday. Okay. So they got one more set, and that's bad. But it's a home, good teams.
No trouble.
Late start for the Thursday game.
Ugh.
And then the next game, I'll tell you, I'm expecting them to lose the next game. The Lakers one is one that I really would like to see them win. I'm kind of expecting, I don't like the matchup for them versus the Knicks. It's been bad the last couple of seasons. If they win that one, it's a really good win.
I don't want to put the cart entirely before the horse, but I would expect Aaron Gordon and Peyton Watson to come back, at least one or the two to be back for that game.
And even though I think that the adjustment for them is better than it is for other like high usage star players. By the way, again, kind of proof of concept. You know how I'm always talking about like, it's really bad whenever star players come back. Yeah, the Bucks got waxed by like the G League main Red Claws tonight, 100-81 in Giannis's return, because you don't know what you're doing.
Coach of the year.
Like you don't know what you're doing when a major player comes back. So, well, we'll kind of see what happens. This is one where you just gotta like it. It wasn't a good win. It was a bad win, but they needed a win. They got it, and now they can, look. I've seen crazier things than a win versus the Jazz being a moment that turns their season. Maybe this is just like leading into a Thursday game where they get some guys back, and all of a sudden it's like, okay, here we go. Because they just need something to get some positive. They need wind in the sails, Ryan. And any win tonight was going to get them a little bit of a gust, just like a little push, like a breeze to push them further on. Do you want to talk about Taius Jones?
Yeah, let's do that. I was going to ask you if you thought any other players tonight deserve.
Talk about anybody else. I should talk about that. No, I thought Val was good.
I thought Val was good too.
Christian made some good passes. He had 4 dimes tonight. I actually like Christian's passing tonight.
I think Christian's playing really good basketball overall.
Julian had 15 points on 15 shots in 30 minutes tonight. He's coming back down to earth, and this is what happens. It's just like, it's a good reason not to give up on him, I think, is how he's played over the last month. But like Julian's not going to be in the, like, once they get everybody back, like Julian's not in the rotation, and that's okay.
No, but that's fine. Like you have your guys, and he can help in certain situations, especially if a Tim Hardaway injury were to happen.
What's up with Cam? Look, I don't know. I haven't talked to anybody. What I would say is
inflammation was the verdict.
He's probably going to get an injection and play on Thursday because they need that game. He'll play that game. He won't play the next game versus the Knicks, and he should not play versus the Knicks. He should. One of the things that's super frustrating about how this has gone is if they had just won like 5 more, if they had just turned 5 of the clutch games or the Knicks or the Bulls and the Kings games, which I will not let go of, if they won the stupid Warriors game on opening night,
the Mavericks game, the Mavericks game for you.
Yeah. Oh my God. Just if Jokic had put a hand up on Ryan Nembhard, who, by the way, was like not in the rotation for a long time, and they didn't even sign to a G League contract or convert him until this week. Oh my God. If they just won like 5 more of those, they could do things like, oh, it's the second night of a back-to-back versus Utah. Screw it. We're just going to sit everybody. Oh, it's a back-to-back versus, they wouldn't do it versus the Knicks because it's a national television game. Like the league would kill them. But like on some of these games, they could just be like, whatever, but now it's like, all right, you got to do it. They need both these games this week. And it's just how it is. And that's how it's going to be the rest of the season.
Do the thing. You got to do it. You put yourself into this position. Now you got to climb out of it.
Well, okay. To be fair, I don't know that they put themselves into it. The season put them in this position.
Yeah. The clutch has also like been something that I think has been controllable as opposed to like just complete randomness. But I don't know. Like we still disagree on that, I think.
Donnie Mac says, but what's the point of letting Cam play when he does nothing? No, you're right. There is legitimate clutchness in the regular season, just doesn't translate to the playoffs.
Sure.
Cam Johnson, to say that he does nothing is incorrect. He just doesn't do enough in the box score. You can read Ryan's stuff on that on the Everydayers Club today.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Nuggets signed Taius Jones, who has bounced around, and at one point, Ryan, when he was in Memphis, like what I'd heard was like he wanted a trade because he wanted starter money. Like Taius felt that he was a starter. So he wound up on the Wizards, and as all things happen, though it will change starting next year, when you go to the Wizards, your career craters and dies. And so it's been a rough go for him. Look, if they had gotten Chris Middleton, which was reportedly the name that they really were kind of focused on, it would have been great.
Yeah.
The entire way while the Discord has like talked for hours on, and God love the disc. I love you, Everydayers. You're so great. I think it's amazing that there's like, let's actually have like a 2-hour debate about Chris Boucher versus
George Niang.
Yeah, like let's have these like entire conversations. I love it. I've always been of the opinion historically buyout guys don't make a difference. They just don't. Buyout guys do not make a difference in the NBA. You do not see them change anything.
Yeah.
And for me, it also goes beyond that, where it winds up with, hey, you have to be able to convince me that he's going to play. Because my opinion is like, it is a real borderline of him versus Pickett. I don't think it's like he's definitely playing over Jalen Pickett, Ryan. I think it's like, look, if they have injuries and Jalen starts and they want to give him some minutes, sure. If they get a cluster injury, if Jalen and Jamal both get hurt and they need a point guard, sure, he's going to play. Him and KJ are going to play. But like, I have very low I was always going to have low expectations if it wasn't Mid. Mid was the only guy that I was like, okay, that would actually be like really interesting on the second unit.
I agree.
Even if it was Lonzo Ball, I was kind of like, I don't know, man. He's cooked.
I mean, there's a completely understandable in that case, and I think that's a fair take. No, I felt much the same way about Middleton. That was the hope. Ultimately, he couldn't agree to a buyout with Dallas. I wish that he could have, but for some reason that one didn't get finalized. And if you're the Nuggets, you have to then pivot and look at, okay, what are some situations in which case, what are some situations throughout the regular season and or the playoffs in which Taius Jones could be a factor? Well, one of them is if you want to rest Jamal Murray down the stretch a little bit, you can actually play a veteran point guard who knows how to run a pick and roll in an NBA system. Like there's something to that. He will get integrated with the Nuggets over the course of these next couple days, hopefully next week. I do think that, I do think that Denver is probably not going to benefit that strongly from this. I compared it to Reggie Jackson when I wrote about it a little bit earlier. Reggie didn't help them in the regular season or in the playoffs in 23. They tried it, didn't really work. They wanted to see what they could get to. Ultimately, they found that Bruce Brown was the better backup point guard option that year. That's probably what they will find this year. There is a part of me that's like, okay, what if they end up deciding to bring in Taius Jones so they can have a backup point guard for next year and trust somebody like him to run the second unit for them, a veteran that knows what they're doing. I don't know if that's ultimately what's going to happen here, but he is a veteran that I think they trust, a veteran that they think highly of. And if anything, like he gets into their identity of not screwing things up, of, hey, let's keep a high assist to turnover ratio. They have the highest assist to turnover ratio in the NBA this season. And he is a guy who has the highest assist to turnover in NBA history. So whether it happens or not, it's something that they value.
The shooting is actually better than I thought it was. He shot in 41% last 2 seasons from 3.
Last year he was good. This year it has not been good. And there's a lot of folks that are very frustrated about his shooting splits, in particular with the Orlando Magic and Dallas Mavericks.
So 2 things there. One, Orlando is where good shooters go to die. Now KCP hasn't recovered, so it might be one of those things where you go there and you contract whatever it is in the water, the Florida man shooting syndrome, and that you're just not able to do it anymore. But like Orlando, I'm willing to give him a pass on, and Dallas is such a cluster mess. I'm not going to really blame him for that. So that one I don't mind. His marquee is the high assist to turnover ratio. He was really good in Memphis at that. He was legitimately great in Memphis.
He doesn't take a lot of chances. He prods at the defense, finds good reads, and ultimately was skilled enough as a scorer and as a playmaker to help other guys get better. His ceiling is very low, and his size is, I think, a very large issue when it comes to a playoff environment.
Okay. This has been a 45-minute episode about a Utah Jazz game.
You know where you're going to get the best content, folks.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
We're here for you. We'll have more on. I'm going to do a solo app tomorrow, for a bonus app for the Everydayers that you can catch tomorrow. So we're going to do that. And then, no, it will not be for the Everydayers. It'll be for everybody. I'm going to do a bonus episode tomorrow. You'll have that, and I'll break down kind of Tyus Jones' game, my thoughts on that. A little bit more expanded. You can catch Ryan's content and coverage and discussion over at Mile High Sports. I'm sure Swipe will have his commentary as well. Thanks for joining us. Hope you guys have a great night. I'm so glad the hiccups cleared up, Jordan. It's the best trick ever. Everyone should write that down. Have a great night. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night for No Jinx. It's Ryan and I 3 nights in a row, baby. We'll see you guys again tomorrow night on Locked On Nuggets. Win's a win, Ryan.